Hi, Professor. This is William Slattery doing video journal number 2. So after watching and reflecting on the videos about Birchbox, the gig economy, robo-advisors, and the growing buy now, pay later industry, I wanted to analyze several key strategic insights through the lens of industry analysis. In particular, the Business Roundtable event that Birchbox CEO Katya Beauchamp took part in provides valuable insights concerning the challenges of launching a new concept and the importance of understanding the competitive landscape your business is competing in. During the discussion that she took part in, Beauchamp explained that her company was founded on the relatively simple idea of providing customers with curated beauty products for a monthly subscription fee. As part of this innovative strategy, the Birchbox CEO explained that the company's target consumer wants quality products while not over-obsessing about beauty standards. Nevertheless, despite the fact that this idea was relatively simple, it is important to remember that this innovative strategy was not being widely utilized in the beauty industry at the time. However, during the discussion, Beauchamp laments that conjuring up a creative idea is only the beginning. In order to be successful, a company must be candid about the challenges it faces in the marketplace and accept that execution is often more difficult than it might appear. Consequently, companies must convince potential customers to switch to something new, form strategic partnerships with suppliers, and constantly adapt as new players enter the market. Watching the video on the Birchbox CEO actually reminded me of the confronting the brutal facts concept from Jim Collins' book, Good to Great. In his book, Collins explains that successful companies accept their reality honestly rather than just relying on wishful thinking. In the case of Birchbox, the company decided to embrace the cutthroat competition in the beauty industry and decided to put all its energy towards constantly adapting their business model. This acceptance of an ever-changing business landscape is extremely important, especially as the influence of artificial intelligence on our lives continues to grow. This can actually be seen through the rise of robo-advisors, which have disrupted the financial services industry by offering quality advice and guidance that rivals traditional advisors. In addition, constant advancements in software have allowed for the innovative companies to carve out a new sector of the economy, the gig economy. Unlike traditional full and part-time jobs, the gig economy encourages freelancing or gig jobs that allow workers more autonomy as independent contractors. In a short time, the gig economy has both completely disrupted how people view work and highlights how the business environment is constantly changing, as was evident during the COVID-19 pandemic. During the pandemic, many individual platforms such as Uber Eats and DoorDash saw rapid growth as both workers and consumers were forced to adapt to the uncertainty that the COVID-19 virus caused. In order to better understand these dynamics at work, it is worth analyzing them through the parameters of Professor Michael Porter's 5 forces framework. This legendary framework helps to analyze the competitive pressures in the market by examining 5 forces: the threat of new entrants, the bargaining power of buyers, the bargaining power of suppliers, the threat of substitute products, and the rivalry among existing competitors. In many ways, this framework applies perfectly to the growing buy now, pay later industry, as there's a constant threat of new entrants. As a relatively new industry, many new firms are choosing to join this arena due to its relatively low barriers to entry and to take advantage of the growing customer demand for this flexible payment option. Another key aspect to consider in the bargaining power of merchants is the bargaining power of merchants. In regard to the aforementioned buy now, pay later industry, many firms generate the lion's share of their revenue through merchant fees rather than charging customers interest fees. As a result, merchants have significant leverage in negotiating partnerships with different providers and could have a major impact on how companies operate in the growing industry. Also, similar to what merchants are doing with their credit card fees, there is a constant threat that merchants will pass additional fees on to customers. Consequently, this might incentivize customers to switch brands when it is more advantageous to do so. As a result, it is incredibly important for companies to understand the role that consumers play in this industry. Currently, consumers have several different payment options available, including credit cards, traditional financing, and other players in the buy now, pay later industry. Because switching costs are currently low, companies need to constantly work to retain their customer base. This increases competition and places pressure on companies to offer better services to potential customers. Looking at the industry as a whole, it is clear that this growing industry is extremely competitive and dynamic as companies work to navigate constant threats in the new industry. Bargaining power for merchants, and low switching costs from consumers. After reflecting on the industry from the perspective of Porter's 5 Forces framework, it seems that the players in this buy now, pay later industry are competing in an overcrowded market, where market share is becoming a premium with each new entrant to the industry. In order to break free of this stiff competition, strategists often encourage companies to abide by the Blue Ocean strategy. Developed by W. Chan Kim and Renee Mangborn, this innovative business strategy implores companies to avoid competing directly with competitors in existing industries, which they dub red oceans, and instead search for new markets where competition is non-existent in so-called blue oceans. In many ways, this aforementioned cosmetic company, Birchbox, is a perfect example of this concept due to the introduction of a subscription model for its products. Through this creative model, the company was able to combine product discovery, convenience, and personalization for its customers. As a result, Birchbox was able to attract customers that were unsatisfied with their current market offering. In essence, Birchbox was able to carve out a new niche for its cosmetic sector for itself. The key takeaway from Good to Great, the Blue Ocean strategy, and the 5 Forces framework is that it is critical for aspiring entrepreneurs to study and understand the landscape they are competing in, and to devise unique ways to offer customers value. In conclusion, the experiences of Katja Beauchamp and the rise of new industries such as the buy now, pay later industry highlight the importance of thinking strategically in a dynamic business landscape by recognizing the challenges posed by rivals, changing consumer behavior, and the other industry forces. Thank you so much. Bye.